still came out.
I still came out, of course. No, don't worry about it. I got you.
Good evening. We're going to get started in about 60 seconds. We're going to get started in about 60 seconds. Everyone make their way to their seats. If you have any questions that you know you may want to ask, at the front of the desk, there's a sign-up sheet for questions.
English. Can you? It's not going to.
Good evening, everyone. 5 points if you can hear me. 5 points if you can hear me. All right, so we're going to get started now. Good evening. My name is Samori Toure. I am the Chief of Staff of Councilmember Sandy Nurse. I just want to let you all know, as you can see, Councilmember Nurse is not here today. She is a little under the weather. She's come down with the flu, so she just wants to send her regards. And she wants to thank you all for being present in this space, and we hope to have a good town hall today. So first, I just want to give quick housekeeping items. So the run of show is going to go, we're going to start with a brief presentation from DOH, DSNY, giving us updates on what they've been doing in the community. And then from there, we'll open up the floor to community questions, constituent questions. Any questions that you may have, please keep note of them. You can write your name on the question sheet in the front of the room, and then you can ask your questions when we get to the Q&A portion of the event. So I just want to get started today by saying thank you all for being here. I recognize that sanitation is a major issue in our district. There's a lot of, we have trash issues, there's rat sighting. There's so many different things that constituents have come to our office and spoken about, and let us know that they learn and they care about sanitation issues in the district. So we thought it was appropriate to have this town hall as a space for you all, a platform for you all to ask questions and to get answers that you all need. So I'm just going to give a brief, update about what Councilmember Nurse has been doing in the district in regards to sanitation. So let's just get started. So for fiscal year 25, we have allocated over $650,000 in sanitation and environmental programs, ensuring cleaner streets, greener spaces, and more community-led sustainable initiatives. Through our participatory budgeting process and a Green in New York City, we have funded tree planting, maintenance, community green projects with partners like Trees New York, New York Restoration, and BK Rock. Since spring 2023, we have planted a total of 425 trees in the district. And we continue to support organizations like Sure We Can, Big Reuse, BK Rock, which focus on composting, recycling, and sustainable waste solutions in the district. We have allocated over $280,000 to New York City cleanup and $150,000 to ACE. We have ensured regular cleaning programs to keep our streets and public spaces free of litter. ACE continues to operate in the district on a regular weekly basis. They have bases near the North Conduit, where I know a lot of folks that reached out to us said there's been a lot of garbage and trash near the North Conduit. Near Broadway Junction in the East New York IBZ, we have a lot of collaboration with DSNY or some other areas over there, with homelessness encampments, with trash, with illegal truck parking. So we recognize that these are all issues that the community has come to us about, and we just want to create the space for you all. We will continue to work closely with DSNY to address the sanitation issues in the IBZ and near Broadway Junction. As you all know, that Broadway Junction is primed for a lot of investment in the near future, starting with the MTA upgrades, and we just want to make sure that the community and their voices are heard. We want to make sure that the folks who live in the IBZ, who live near Broadway Junction, are taken care of. Because oftentimes we see that, these big developments and these projects come into the neighborhood, and we are sort of like looked over, So I just want to make sure that you all know that Councilmember Nurse has put you all first, and you are all at the front of her mind whenever she's negotiating, working with many stakeholders in the community. Additionally, we have communicated due to many of the complaints that you all have sent to our office to assist with the complaints on the mobile car washing along Jackie Robinson Parkway and Upper Highland, and addressing water runoff and other concerns in the area. Additionally, we have allocated over $53,000 for sanitation cameras, which will enhance the monitoring and enforcement efforts to prevent illegal dumping and maintain cleanliness in the district. Lastly, I just want to say that these efforts reflect our ongoing commitment to improving sanitation, reducing blight, and maintaining clean public spaces in District 37. Because we all deserve some of the same treatment that other neighborhoods get that we may not see on a daily basis. So I just want to emphasize the work that Councilmember Nurse and her office, our team has done. Shout out to Patricia from our office. Shout out to Sam, who's in the front manning the desk. And you all may know Don already. He's the East New York East Side big stepper. So we appreciate the work that we all done. So now I'm just going to pass it off to, I'm going to pass it off to you for your DOH presentation, and we will get started there. Thank you.
My name is Josetta Christian. I am one of the supervisors with pest control It's better? Okay. I was wondering what's going on just now. Sorry. So my name is Josetta Christian. I am one of the pest control supervisors in North Brooklyn office. I'm also here with Sarah Webster, who's in the back. She's taking information, and Afia. Yes. So I'll be giving you this presentation, and like he said, at the end, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. If there's questions that we cannot answer for you today, we'll take those questions and we'll get back to you later. So you can give Saria information, or you can give myself the information, or Afia, and then we'll get back to you later. Okay? So this is going to be a presentation from Pest Control. You can go to the next slide. So the goal and commitment of New York City is to ensure that the health and safety of New Yorkers are not compromised, right? So by doing that, we enforce for the health code, we enforce Article 151.2. And 151.2 basically says that as property owners, you're responsible for the upkeep of your property. So we come around, and the checks that we're doing is just to give you guys a heads up to say, hey, this is what we observe, but it's generally for you to be able to know what's going on and be able to do the upkeeps on your property. So we do community outreach, and we do inspections, and part of that inspection process is also doing compliance inspection. So we have, our proactive inspections are generally in high volume areas where we have a burden of having high road activities. During the process, the property may fail an inspection. If the property fails inspection, then we'll come back out and do compliance inspection, but we'll talk about that a little more as we go along. So what do we do? So pardon me, this is my first time doing it. I know I shouldn't say that, but I realize I'm getting a little nervous, so I just want to calm myself down. Okay. So the Office of Pest Control Services, we conduct active pest management, and again, we do inspection, and it's just so that we can help our community reduce the possibility of being exposed to rodent-borne illnesses, rat bites, and just to generally improve the quality of life in New York City around sanitations, because we know rats in New York City is a big part of that problem. Some of the key activities is we respond to complaints, and the complaints could be from property owners, it could be people in the public, it could be neighbors, it could be tenants. So we publicize by doing community outreach, such as having Rodent Academy. So hopefully you guys have signed up for Rodent Academy, and it's just to get more information for yourself, if you're property owners, and also for you to pass out to your tenants and your community members. We do education in the community, Rodent Academy. We go to the next slide. So you guys are in community board, City Council District 37. City Council District 37 is a total of 18,108 tax lots. So for community board, there are 6,900 lots, and there's an overlap. We'll talk about that overlap. So the rat mitigation zone for 2024, community board 4 was fully inspected. So every lot in community board 4 got an inspection from our team. Community board 5 and community board 16 are inspected based on complaints from the public. So those are not part of our annual inspections. So we have biannual inspections in community board 4 where they receive every 6 months a tax lot get a new inspection. So if this block is inspected this month, 6 months from now they're going to get another inspection. So in community board 5, there's 9,908 lots, and in community board 16 is 1,300 lots. So you go to the next slide. So for calendar year 2024, there were 919 complaints, and of that 919 complaints, 200 of those were duplicates. Duplicates meaning we already had an open inspection on that property, and another complaint came in. Or we had an inspection, active inspection that's not complaint related, and a complaint came in. So what happens when the duplicates come in, we close out the duplicates. So our hope and our goal is for when a community member makes a complaint, that they put their information on there, because that way we can reach out to them and say, hey, you may look in the system and you're going to see your complaint is closed. The reason why the complaint is closed is not because we're ignoring it, it's because we have an active inspection already in progress. So we did a total of 11,346 inspections. Of that inspection, 8933 of those inspections were new inspections, so we call them initial inspection. And there was a 23% failure rate. We had compliance inspection. These are inspections that already existed and we did follow-ups. So of the follow-up inspections, 64% of those failed. And we had 1,020 extermination, which is a good number. The goal is to get that number lower, meaning the goal is not to have the Department of Health come out and do extermination. The goal is for community members to have conversations with us. When we do the inspections, we send out notice. And when we send out that notice, the goal and the hope is for community members to contact us so we don't get to the extermination. Because oftentimes folks believe that when the exterminators come out, that the city is footing that bill. That's not how it works. When the exterminators come out, that means the property owners will be billed for that. So the goal is to have you guys contact us so we can work with you. Because what happens when we do an inspection, you fail, and you reach out to us, we can do a couple of things like putting the inspection on hold and work with you so that you can mitigate the issue. So we don't want to just directly jump into the billing section of it. Next slide, please. So here is the map of District Council 37 and RMZ zone. RMZ zone is that zone that we inspect twice annually. In District Council 37, we don't inspect that. That's based on complaints. The overlapping area here is the RMZ zone. So that's the zone that's getting inspected by us every 6 months. We also do complaints in that area. The green zone, based on complaints, and our regional office does that inspection, those inspections. Next slide, please. So the neighborhood rat prevention strategy. So again, biannual inspections, our inspections does come out because we're following the health codes and we're hoping that we'll have an active conversation with community members. So we have inspectors that come out, we have case managers. The role of the case managers is basically to have a one-on-one relationship with property owners so that we can walk the property owners step by step through the process rather than just jumping to where they're being issued summons and fines. So the New York City Department of Health, we work in conjunction with the Parks Department, Department of Sanitation, New York City Public Schools, and New York City Housing Authority in the RMZ zone. So the initial inspection. So when we come out to do an initial inspection, property owners will only hear from us if there's a failure of that property. If we come out and do an inspection and we don't identify any rat signs, then the inspection passed. There's no need for you guys to hear from us. But if there's a failure, then that's when you get that notification. Next slide. So these are some of the things that we look for that tells us there's active rats, right? We see live rats, rat droppings, rat burrows, gnaw marks, tracks and runways, and excessive clutter of litter and stuff like that. So let me just go back to gnaw marks. Gnaw marks is when the rats, they're chewing on the bins, they're chewing on the board, they're chewing on whatever. We see evidence of that. So that's also an active rat sign. A property can fail for that. Tracks we generally see during the snowy period. So it's very difficult to see tracks outside of snow. Runways are when they're moving along the wall or they're moving along something, they'll leave a grease mark. We call that sebum deposit. So when we see that sebum deposit, that means this is active rat sign, and there's a huge possibility that rodents are running this. And how we handle that, we generally tell property owners, you can clean that up by scrubbing that area with Clorox water solution. Why? Because you need to get rid of that pheromone scent that they're leaving. For us, we have 125 Ward Street as our address. For them, is that sebum trail that they're leaving. It's saying, hey, you can come to this property. It's safe here. It's comfortable here. You can get food. You can get water. You can have shelter in this area. So the goal is to just clean that area so that that pheromone, that address that they left, is no longer there for them. Next slide. So when a property fails an inspection, we issue a quota letter. That's the commissioner's order of abatement. And that's generally after the inspection and after the property failed. So it tells you a couple of things. It tells you what's in this on the inspection report, what the inspector observed. It gives you the time for remediation, and it gives you contact information so you can reach out to us at the office. And it also tells you that you're going to have a follow-up inspection. So before we get to the follow-up inspection, the goal is that you'll contact us so we can either put it on hold for you, or we can send an exterminator or an inspector to help you identify specifically what we're citing. Because sometimes it's kind of difficult, unless you're really doing the work and identifying these things on a daily basis, it could be very difficult to know that rat droppings are rat droppings, right? And then to identify rub marks. For compliance inspection. So the compliance is afterwards, and again, all of this is based on the health code. So the compliance, once we do a compliance inspection, if the property passes the inspection just like in the initial, then there's no need for us to come back. In our system, we'll correct that information. However, if the property fails the inspection, then a summons is issued. When the summons is issued, the goal again is still to have you contact us so that we can explain the process to you. It doesn't mean that we can automatically stop what comes next, which is a fine, right? So once the summons is issued, then there's the old process. Old is where you get the opportunity to go to hearing, and in the hearing you can explain to the judge, and perhaps they'll have leniency. So during the old process, the fines start at $300 and can go to a maximum of $2,000. But again, our goal is not to get to where we, the community, have to spend money. Next slide. So what do property owners need to do? Basically is clean up, right? Clean up meaning making sure that your garbage is adequately stacked away. So a lot of times we'll go to a property and we're citing for garbage, or we're citing for overflowing garbage bins. So the goal is not to do that. So have big garbage bins, enough garbage bins based on the size of your property and the number of tenants that you have. Because if you have open and exposed garbage, you're basically inviting rats, especially when people dump food inside that garbage. You can have one garbage bin, and I got one of the flyers in the back said, to us, it's nothing, but to rats, it's a 5-star restaurant. And it could be as little bit as a handful of food. That could feed over a family of rats. And let's put it in perspective. If you have 1 litter, right, and you have 1 female in that litter, that female is ready to have pups in 21 days, and they can have up to from 8 to 14 pups in a litter. 8 to 14, now if you have 4 females in that litter, in 21 days, now you have 4 times that number. So the goal is just to make sure that we have our garbage under control as property owners. So maintain and have them closed. When you see cracks in your sidewalk, in your steps, rats, they will exploit those little cracks. As big as a dime, they'll chew to that, make that bigger, and it becomes a bar, right? So you want to seal up any little openings that you see on your property. And also in the sidewalk, because we are also responsible for the sidewalks in front of our home. Again, ensure that your garbage are secured properly. Regularly inspect your property just to make sure that you don't have any holes, you don't see sebum deposit, you don't see rat droppings. And if you're not too sure, contact the office and then we can send someone out to basically help you figure that out. And again, with the Rat Academy, if you sign up for Rodent Academy, you can get an email and ask for information, and we'll try and provide that for you. So it says regularly inspect barrels and collapsed barrels where you see them. That is when you see a barrel, you don't want to leave it there. Sometimes people just put dirt and they just brush it over with leaves and stuff. No, that's like having a vacant house and you just close the door, you leave the door partially closed. People are still gonna go in, so you want to collapse that barrel. I mean, you're gonna put your poison in, seal it up, and then you crush it down so that you interrupt their regular lifestyle. So also work with a licensed pest control professional. So why we say work with a licensed pest control professional? Because they went to school, they have a license, they know how to handle those chemicals, right? And that's before you even get to us. You don't want to and you can also utilize 311 just for your own property. When we come out, we will give you information. We're not going to cite you as the property owner that's reported the issue at your property. We're basically going to help guide you so that you can come into compliance. Next slide. So here's some recommendation and resources. If you guys want to take a picture of this, we have upcoming events in March at the Restoration Plaza, and I believe they'll be raffling those big garbage bins. So if you guys want to take a picture, you can do that.
Hold on. They're gonna have well, you could get
Yes. You can find the information
No, she
at
just said they're for free.
nyc.gov/rats.
Do you have any literature on that in the back?
Yes, in the back we have the literature, so if you want, you can pick it up there, yes.
I didn't see it back there.
Everybody's good?
It says attend Rat Academy free rat protection and management training events happening in bins will be raffled.
Yes.
Raffle the bins.
So on the next event, they'll be raffling the bins. Next slide, please. So this is all contact information at the North Brooklyn office. This is myself or Josette Christian. You can email me if you have questions. This is my supervisor, Mrs. Wellington. You can also email her. If you would like to host a Rotary Cafe for your community, you can also reach out to us at the RAC portal at help.nyc.gov.
What does that mean, host?
Next slide, please. No, wait. Oh, sorry. Sorry? Yes, the information is in the back. You wanted to take a picture? You can take a picture of this because my email, no, it's not here. So if you want to take a picture of this here, you can take it so you can have our emails and tell me. 1 second. I'm sorry. Okay. No, not that. Everybody's good? Next slide.
I have this. That's what they're.
That's what she said.
So this is the RAC portal, nyc.gov/RAC. You can plug in your information if you want to see what's going on your block and your building, and it will give you information of the current inspection, if there's one, the last inspection, and it gives you a history. If there was complaints of the property, it gives you a history of it. Good? Next slide. If all else fails, you can contact 311. That's where you will leave your complaint, and those complaints do get to us. The only thing that I ask you is that once you make one complaint, don't make 2, 3, or 4 complaints, especially if you're not going to put your information, because then I can't call you and say, hey, I'm going to close out this complaint because we're actively doing an inspection on it right now. This week I had to contact a couple of property owners. Why? Because my inspectors, they were out doing inspections as a complaint. 2 complaints came in, so I was able to contact one person to say, hey, you'll look in the system, you'll see that the complaint is closed, and this is the reason why. Okay? And this is the flyer that's in the back. We also have, these are some of the languages that we have information in. So if you need it for yourself, for your friends, for your coworker, for your tenants. Next one. This is also some of the flyers, the posters, the boards that we have. We have those in the back. We have both of them, so if you want, you can collect a couple of them on your way out. And these are our social media information. If you want to take a picture of it, if you want to follow online, that's fine. Okay? All right. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you guys. With the telephone number? Oh. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you, Gisela. Next, I want to give Chief Bostic and Assistant Commissioner Obijiro an opportunity to share some of the district updates or anything that you want to share about the DSNY. Assistant Commissioner Obijiro.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
So thank you for having us. Thank you very much for the presentation. We all get nervous once in a while when we stand up to people. So just very quickly though, thank you for inviting us. I want to thank the council member for having us be part of this town hall conversation with the community. So very quickly, I'm sure all of you probably have heard and you do know that we are now going through a particular period at DSNY. The month of March to the 1st of April, we are now doing the organics, whereby it is now required to put up like the food scrap and whatever you into those brown beans that we gave you guys some time ago. We are now in the warning period. This month of March is just one is going to get if you don't comply. Come April 1 or thereabout, we're going to start some serious enforcement of that particular rule. I share that with you all to say first thank you, because the compost bin that we gave was highly utilized in Brooklyn. That's what it is a fact. But at the same time, we want to ensure that we continue to help ourselves and the health department to mitigate around the issue of rats. The way we've been doing it at our own level at the department is to require every homeowner, 1 to 9 units, to containerise their garbage, which I'm sure all of you do know, and I'm sure all of you comply as much as you can. Is one way in which we believe we can be supportive of the goal of the mayor to get rid of the rats. It's not easy to do that, but at least the more we all work together around this, I think the better it will be for us as a city. I will just touch on 1 or 2 things. I think I'd rather have you guys ask us questions as to what it is you guys see in the community that you are concerned about, and we can probably answer. I even give some solutions and some good answers to how we are trying to do a couple of things. I know you mentioned the IPC, for example. As you know, we've been working with your office quite closely. Chief Bostic here particularly has made it his business, and I would say it, to be at the visibility you guys have around that particular area. And all of the concerns of this council district is one I will take very seriously. Your member reached out to me yesterday around the mobile car wash challenge, so that you know, we've actually been in the area for a bit. As of November of last year to present, I think we've done maybe 25, 26 visits. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe we've given over 50 summonses to those illegal car wash. I'm going to look at my records to be sure I don't give you wrong information. But I know we've done quite a lot of work around it. But remember, I reached out yesterday specifically on that issue. And on the North Conduit that you mentioned as well, Chief Bostic has really been great in terms of keeping an eye on that particular location. We did a major cleanup of that area. I think it was it last week or so, or 2 weeks ago, Chief? Yeah. So as we speak today, I can say this. No, let me not say it, because I don't talk about cameras here, and I want to leave that alone. Just keep an eye that we are very much aware of what's going on, and we are monitoring what's going on around illegal dumping in the area. So we are, your member is, she's very much in our case, and we do appreciate her calling us all the time. We have no issues, and we do respond quite well when she does. So please feel free to ask us any questions that you may have this evening. We do our best to answer to the best of our ability. And if there are questions that you're asking us and I don't have an answer to, I will definitely get you an answer if I don't have it right now. I think that probably is I want to, is that okay? Okay. So I'll wait. Maybe I will wait for you to moderate, and then we can go from there.
I thought there would be.
Thank you very much.
One moment. So here's how we're going to do the question and answers. So when you came in, we all signed this on the question sheet. So I'm going to prioritize the list on the question and answer sheet that you all signed when you came in. And then subsequent to that, you all will have an opportunity. We're only here until 8 o'clock, so we're going to keep that in mind. But once the questions are done from the list, we will do folks who raise their hands, and then we'll answer those questions as well. So I'm going to call up the first person, Ms. Zenobia Bly, if you want to just take a step.
Hello, my name is Zenobia Bly. I live on Highland Boulevard, and over the last...
Can everyone hear? I apologize. Can everyone hear?
Over the last 8 months, we've had several car washes up there blocking the traffic off the they're blocking the traffic on both sides of the street, which is hindering the people who live up there as well as the people who want to go home as well. So I witnessed on Monday of last week, there were 8 car washes parked there actively working, and I noticed the sanitation supervisor sitting behind. But
about a particular area, Island Oliver, I think it's from Vermont Place, and I know the exact area. Yes. And I actually find it not funny. I had the team, so that you understand, it is true that we are responsible for it. Within the department itself, we have an enforcement unit. So our enforcement unit is what is responsible for that particular area. So we do have the enforcement officers who are like NYPD officers when you see them, because and usually, so today, funny and not funny, I asked them to actually come to that location today. They were on White taking care of some stuff. I'm waiting for a report as to what it is that they found. Because your member was very, very strong when she spoke to me yesterday about this issue. I can commit to you that we're going to be back there. It's on our radar. It's on our radar. Don't forget, like I said earlier, we've been in that location not just on the block, we've been around that island area in the past. And folks are slick, let's use that term loosely. They move around, right? So now that we know where they are again, I think we are going to be, we are aware of it. The member spoke to me yesterday, and I can assure you that it's something I take very seriously, and we're going to do something about it. Okay, that I can tell. Because it's on the radar, the officers are aware of my expectations of them, and they will indeed enforce the law in that area. Okay? Yes.
If they have any problems, they realize they can notify the 75 precinct, because they dealt with this problem for the last 6 months. So they need back in, because I understand before they were saying, oh, we don't have too many people to do it. But I'm saying, it's sanitation work. They can see the inspector because they're sitting in front of the monastery that they can handle that situation.
We do work with MIPD when we need to, and I say when we need to. This is something within our own area of responsibility, and we have to take care of it. PD, definitely, when we need them, they come, right? In the past, so that you know, we've been known to tow vehicles, and we have our own towing machineries as well when we need to do that. So allow us this week, next week, to spend some time trying to manage and curtail. As you know, that we don't issue the permits, right, for the mobile car washes, but we do enforce the laws around them. As long as, number one, if they're complying within the rules, right, is one thing, but it's the difference when you have 8 of them on the block. It doesn't make sense. It does not make one sense at all. So we're aware of it, I can promise we're going to be there several, that I can tell you. Okay?
Excuse me, are you saying that they are legally
Hold on, we're gonna go through the list. Your name is on here, so.
No, I'm only asking questions related.
All right, quickly.
Quick one. You saying that it's legally that they are doing car wash in multiple places?
No, I didn't say that. I said they get permits, right? And there's a process for that, and there are rules around them, right? If they are contravening the rules, like I said, 8 of them, it doesn't make sense. 8 people on the block, that doesn't make sense, right? So I'm going to have the team, they are aware of it. They know locations, we have it. If they don't go today, they'll be there tomorrow, and I'll report back to the council member's office.
But they get permits and they get the water from...
No, they're not allowed to do that. Again, like I said, they get their permits. However, they must work within the rules that allow them to operate. You're not allowed, for instance, to use water from the hydrant. So therefore, if we show, and that's what you're doing, then you do what it is we must do as well, right? So we're on top of it, right?
Thank you. I just want to give a quick acknowledgement to everyone that's on our Instagram live stream. Thank you for joining us virtually. We'll answer some of your questions as well. So I'm going to ask a question that was on the Instagram. This is for DOH. What do you see as the major blocker to why people fail on a second RAC inspection? And how do you see people address it appropriately? Do you prefer, would you suggest working with DOH or versus having their own personal exterminators to come resolve?
I think the primary reason people fail on the first inspection, well, there's a couple of reasons. So we have an issue where some of the properties that we inspect, the property owners don't live there. So when we find we have a high failure rate in properties where the property owners don't live there. It's just tenants. But if it's a situation where it's a homeowner, those properties on the second inspection, they tend to do cleanup. But across the board, anybody can fail a second inspection. And that's because sometimes people really don't know specifically what they're looking for. And like I mentioned before, because we're doing the job, we know specifically what we're looking for, which is why we encourage people to contact the office once they get that notice. Because if you contact the office and you don't know, we can come out and assist you. We can come out and do a walkthrough with you to pinpoint specifically what we saw, right? And I like to have different inspectors go. So if I go on an initial inspection, I'll have a different person go on the follow-up inspection. Because what I saw the first time may be something different than what the second person is going to see, right? So I may think it's a bar, but the next person go and they do a little bit more intricate inspection, and they find that it's a hole that goes nowhere, right? So again, our goal is to just make sure that we do thorough inspections. So there's a plethora of reasons why a second inspection can fail. In regards to the second half of the question, I think it's best to contact the office so that we can talk you through it, not just to have DOH exterminators come out. Again, because when DOH exterminators come out, you're going to have to pay the city. So it's best practice for property owners, homeowners to go through that process first. And even if you hire an exterminator externally, do walkthroughs with them. Let them show you what they identify. Why are they billing you, right? When they say, oh, I'm doing poisoning, what are they actually putting poison in? Is it just an empty hole? Do the walkthrough with them so that you can be an educated consumer and not just be paying your money, right? So it's good to work with the city, but I think best practice is to start that process first before it gets to the little bit more serious side of it.
Thank you. I want to give it to Ms. Lois Patterson. Ms. Lois.
I want to know why with sanitation, they don't, when they do the street cleaning, we have the cars that do not move. Why they don't ticket them? That's on go-up lanes. I'm only talking about go-up lanes.
Hello? Well, I can't speak on specifically go place, but they are supposed to be taking cars that don't move. At that particular district, there's 10 mechanical brooms and we have 5 officers, so they can't physically be with the brooms at all times that they sweep them. But we have a tracking system where every 5 weeks, every segment is supposed to get monitored. If you notice that your segment is not being monitored, feel free to reach out to me and I'll make sure that it's all safe.
Thank you. I have one question from the Instagram live stream from Samantha. Along Golden Street, underneath the Jane Z train, from Cleveland Street to Crescent, there is loose trash. I understand they clean up every day, but a lot of the loose trash stays behind. Can you provide an update on the frequency and the effectiveness of the trash collection in this area?
The trash collection is bi-weekly. I'm not 100% sure on the days, but it's twice a week. We also have a supplemental basket service that services the corner baskets every night, and they're responsible for picking up any drop-offs along that route. So Fulton Street is service every night. You said between those blocks?
Underneath the Jane Z train from Cleveland Street to Crescent. And there's complaints of loose trash that stays behind after.
I'll take a deeper look into it, but I know that every night we service that with our baskets, and they pick up anything in and around the baskets. So I'll take a deeper look into it, look at the street cleaning regulation along with the basket service and see what we should be done. Thank you.
Next I have Angus Fisher.
Hello, good evening. I have 2 questions. One, in the presentation that you gave, you said if somebody puts in a duplicate ticket that the one is closed, is there, because I know I frequently 311 a lot of complaints and everything, but is there a way for you to know advocate to get more trash cans or receptacles throughout the community, because we had some, they disappeared. I understand that some of them got relocated due to illegal dumping by residents, but I think that's along Pennsylvania Avenue. Yeah, so thank you.
For the first part of your question, so with the duplicate tickets, as the person that's putting in the complaint, the only how you're really going to know the reason that ticket was closed is if you left your information on that complaint and we're able to contact you back. So if it's anonymous, which a lot of the complaints that come into the office, they're coming in as anonymous. So when we're closing out the tickets, there's no one for us to say, hey, this is the reason why we're closing out those tickets. Regarding the trash cans, is it good?
Hey, how you doing? Regarding the trash cans, you said along Pennsylvania Avenue? All right, from where? From Fulton, Jamaica?
So there's been, I think last year and the year beforehand, there's a new trash can that was placed along Pennsylvania Avenue.
Okay.
They were on every corner at one point, then they started disappearing.
Okay, what I'll have is one of the district officers do a survey and cross-reference what baskets are there with our basket map. We have a map where it shows us where the baskets are supposed to be due to high pedestrian, foot traffic, a lot of different entities. And I'll make sure that every basket that's supposed to be there is put out as soon as possible. Do you have a specific one that you reference, or you saying it generally, or just do that?
In general, I noticed, but when I spoke about it, I sit as corresponding secretary at CV5. So when bringing it up at the sanitation meeting, it was kind of told to me that with some of the illegal dumping that's going on with the commercial, some of the
sometimes
more residential, they come and put their trash in there. So they ended up taking some of them off of like Livonia Avenue, New Lots Avenue. There was there was 4 that was placed.
Yeah, it should be.
Now there's only 2 on Livonia Avenue and 2 on New Lots Avenue.
Okay, I'll look into that, 'cause I know not too long ago, I seen that a couple of baskets missing, particularly on New Lots, and we replaced them. I'll definitely look into that, all right?
Thank you. Julie Byrd.
Hi everyone. So I love rat mitigation and I love composting too. And I am looking forward to the April 1st moment when this will be regulated, etc. However, it seems to me that there is a problem with the relocation of the bins that we personally must purchase, both for composting and the sealed bins. Yes. So we must purchase those. They're $50 a piece, and they get relocated
Stolen.
after April 1st if we have a bin that's been stolen, which has happened to me already, and then we get a citation for not having our things in a proper bin. How is that going to work? I ask because it's happened, and I called 311, and I was told to file a police report, which is really ridiculous if the NYPD is going to be fielding that kind of complaint, which is going to happen more often starting April 1st. There's much more incentive to steal these very expensive bins. And so I did put in a police report, but nothing happened. Eventually I did buy another $50 bin to replace the one that was stolen. But we can't do that every time. Is there any plan to put tracking on the bin? Not just the barcode, but actual tracking so that, these things can be tracked. And it is not a solution just to write your address on the side. It's not. Thank you.
Let me find something from you, ma'am. You had said something about, I heard 2 things. There's the brown bin and there's the bin, right? Which are we talking about? Which was stolen? Is it the brown bin that was stolen, or is it just the NYC, or the New York City bin that you guys bought to trade?
Both of them. I bought both of the bins, and as of April 1st, DSNY Stephen must go out too, which also costs $50. So then there will be two $50 bins on the sidewalk for our days.
Okay. Now, as of today, your compost bin, which is the brown bin, you can actually have it out on the day of your regular recycling pickup date. If I'm not mistaken, that's how it's done across the city. That's what's supposed to be. It goes out with your regular garbage. Now, there is no April 1st deadline necessarily. Let me clarify what I said earlier. We are now going to start enforcing, that people must now begin to indeed put their stuff, their food scraps, what have you, in those brown bins. It makes sense, right? Not in your garbage, so-called can. To the extent that that happens, if you're already doing it, like I do, it's not an issue. It's unfortunate, and I'm going to say this, I've said this several times across the city, everywhere I'm going to speak on this issue, and forgive what I'm about to say. I am not so sure why folks are still in garbage cans.
They want to make money.
With respect. Hold on one second. Just tell me one second.
Hold on, give it a chance.
Just tell me 1 second. That question is one that I need to ask myself. Is money? I've heard that. Yes, people are selling it. I've heard that. I keep saying, but you sell it the ground bean with in New York City City County. That's another story for another day. But it just always baffles me. Is what I'm trying to make. I'm not putting it for different reasons. People do. But I'm always amazed that that happens. Mine has been stolen as well, so I can speak from experience. As someone who got these means and people steal it. I'm really sorry, but the fact remains that there's no tracking mechanisms in the current bin that we're asking folks to buy. Right? I'm sure you've heard, I'm going to talk about this now because there's no specific anything. Your member and others passed a bill not long ago that would allow the city to provide bins for free. The council members did that not too long ago. But of course it's not law yet because it's not been signed into law. There's a whole long process for that to happen. We don't really have anything right now because we're still studying the bill as it is. Once it is signed, we study it and we know how to indeed move forward. But right now there's nothing that I can speak to. I'm sorry people still bins. Yes. What you were told by 311, I'm sorry, it's really is the case. That if people steal your items, you have to let PD know. It does not mean that we don't understand that it costs us money to do this else. But barring anything else, that's the only thing we can do. There's no tracking mechanism on those means. The only thing that I believe we have on the new means is this, what's it called now? Is it the RF something? QR. Yes, something to that effect. Whereby when you buy a bin, it is actually attached to you, to your name. So let's assume that someone steals my bin for an example. Let's say the PDC is the person 2 blocks down, right? They can actually check that and see what was the bin. One thing I would encourage people to do is please, to the extent that you can do this, and I think you should really do it, put your addresses on your bins. I know it sounds kind of silly.
No, it's not silly.
Right? Put your addresses on it with the paint or whatever it is, just to make it impossible for them. Not that people are trying to steal it regardless, but at least it's much more difficult, is the point I'm making. So if you can do that, that's what that can be very helpful. Now there's easy solution, but I'm just going to be very honest with you guys. People steal bins. PD is there to help us with those kinds of things. It's very, that's not going to say about that. Again, I'm sorry you've lost your bins a couple of times, and we require people to have bins now, and that's not where we stand.
It's just the issue that it's going to start being enforced, and so then,
So if you get a
goodness
ticket,
forbid,
can
I
you
get a
prove that you bought it?
citation for not having the proper bin when it's been stolen.
You just think that, there's an idea you just gave now, a question you just asked. So let me think about that some and take it back. There's something you said now that I'm going to take back. What happens, for example, you said, if my bin has been stolen and then I get a citation as an example, right? So allow us to do some thinking on that, and I'll talk to the council members office about this as we go forward, okay?
Thank you. I'm going to pass it to Ms. Melinda Perkins, District Manager for CB5.
Thank you so much, Samori. Thank you, Commissioner in Chief, for coming out, and Representative from HPD. Thank you so much. I didn't get your name, so pardon. Just wanted to ask in regards to the residents' question around bids being stolen. Is there a way that DSNY is currently tracking any reports of residents saying that their bids have been stolen? And if so, can that information be passed on to the community board so that we can then help to support some of that legislation going forward? And I would encourage all of the residents in the community, if you are having issues like that, please do the 311 report and contact our office so that we can support this legislation to move forward with free bids, because of course we don't want to get, charged over and over again for something that we cannot control. But Commissioner.
I think to your question, we've got some complaints. I don't have the exact number yet, but I know there's something going on. People calling every so often. I've got a lot of meetings as well. I've heard this. People have told me that their bids have been stolen. So I hear those kinds of, I will take it back, take it very seriously. Just to clarify something, you mentioned about it is still my bid and then I get the songs. She just reminded me something I was thinking of, which is, I think is true. Usually when you do a police report, you can most likely use that as a way to fight the songs, right? To show that your bid was stolen. It's not as if you're trying to intervene the rules. This is actually what happened. Hopefully that should be able to mitigate unnecessary sanctions. But to your question, allow me to kind of go back and look in, and then we go from there, okay?
Thank you so much for those questions. Next, I have Carlos H. Carlos H. Okay, Miss Grace Jones Roberts.
Grace Jones.
Good evening. I have a few questions and concerns. One of the concerns that I have is when we put in a complaint to 311 about cars blocking the street sweeper, the response is that you have to wait after 9:30. My time span for alternate side of the street parking is from 8 to 9:30. If I wait to 9:30, there's not one space that's available on my street. And the response I get is that they came out and they did not observe anything. That is a waste of my time, and it frustrates everyone else, but it also gives leniency and acceptance to the people that do it. So there has to be a better system for that. That does not work for the community, it doesn't work for the property owners. The second thing is that the street sweepers, are they supposed to use water when they're sweeping? Because all they do is because I sweep in front of my sidewalk, but also into the street. And all they do is put all the leaves and dust and dirt back on my sidewalk. I don't understand that. The third thing is that I don't understand. I'm on Nichols, which is Sheridan, once it passes Atlantic Avenue, going towards Jamaica Avenue. There is a lot of space with all of these auto body shops, and there's nothing done about them. Nothing. There's so much garbage and dumping in cars. How I have to see with taking my child back and forth to school, it is reckless. I don't know how we haven't been hit yet. And what leads to this is all the dumping, right? You have all the tires there, you have all the garbage. And say, for instance, the boarded up area where they had the fire for an autumn in Atlantic, where they had the fire where they have the school buses. The sidewalk is so small, right? There's a truck been there for years that is with the auto body shops across the street and those that are on Jamaica Avenue, because it's listed the address on the truck. What's behind the truck on the sidewalk is so much garbage, people are stepping over it to get through a sidewalk that's this small because of the area that's boarded up for that property there. Right? It is disgusting, it is defiling, and my daughter won't even walk on Atlantic Avenue. Her prom was right there on Atlantic and Crescent. We had to go to Fulton Street to go all the way around because she refused to walk on Atlantic Avenue. And I don't understand, and I'm thankful that you ticket the cars that don't move on the private streets, on the side streets. But what happens on these Atlantic Avenue where these cars don't move for years? Nothing is done to these auto body shops. We're supposed to have 3 lanes there, sometimes it's 1. Right? The Atlantic Avenue between Lincoln and Auto, they removed the bus there because there was so much stuff going on with the cars. Nothing is done, and this has been, I've been in for 10 years, nothing is done. It is absolutely disgusting. All the cars that are there, the double parking, the triple parking. And what's around it? Garbage, dumping, right? There's also on Nichols and Atlantic Avenue used car shop that's right there. Alongside that, to the private house there. Who controls that strip of grass there? Because all that is dumping as well, right? Who controls that? Who's responsible for that area? One, it's never, the snow is never picked up from it, but also garbage is never picked up from it. So who's responsible for that?
I'm not familiar exactly with the location you talk about. Nichols and Atlantic, what's the next street? Is it a grassy area?
Yeah, there's a grassy area right there at the corner.
I can look into whose ownership and we can provide service there. You also mentioned some dump outs on, you said Nichols, Sheridan to Atlantic?
You press it to, I would say Nichols, which is Sheridan. Sheridan is on one side of the street, Nichols is on the other. Nichols go from Atlantic Avenue to Jamaica. Sheridan goes from Atlantic, whatever east it is. Sheridan goes past Liberty. It goes past Liberty.
All right. Either way, before I leave, I'll connect with you and I'll get the exact locations so we can get that service. And about the brooms, yes, they're supposed to be using water, weather permitting. If it's sort of freezing or below, we don't use water because the tanks can freeze up and create hazardous conditions. But yes, generally, when the weather nice, yes, they're supposed to be using water. If you find someone not using water, I give you my contact information, please let me know.
Yeah, I can give you that information. The other thing is that on Fulton Street, you have the same thing with the street sweeper, the cars don't move, so how are they gonna sweep? And then no one's being ticketed on Fulton Street, but you'll come on Nichols and you'll ticket the whole property owners on Fulton, on Nichols, but you won't ticket anyone on Fulton Street, which is commercial corridor.
Just to maybe
I don't understand that.
correct up something here. It doesn't matter where it is. We will indeed, like I said earlier, not an excuse, it's just the way things are. We have, and we do enforce the rules, across the board. Now, if ma'am, you mentioned some areas now, we are going to spend some time investigating those areas, that you can take my word for it. We're going to look into it, we're going to see what we can do to ameliorate the situation on that particular strip. But please note, we do not say one area is one of you. Once the team is aware of the situation, Chief Bostic is here for that reason. Like I said earlier, when I spoke earlier, he's very, very responsive, and so am I. The council member knows how to reach me. If there's any issue, I get a phone call from the members and others. We respond very quickly. Of course, manpower permitting, but we will calm down, take a look at that area. Before we leave, please, let's connect so we can have the areas, where these issues are happening. Now, for the vehicles, abandoned vehicles, point of view, we look into that as well. We have a program that we can actually use. So allow us to do some of our own investigation, and then, then we go from there, okay? Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you for your question. I just want to reiterate that our office is here for you. If you have any concerns, any questions, any comments, you can reach out to our office. Before you leave here today, you can collect a palm card from the front tables that Samantha's at. You can reach out to us if you have any complaints, have any issues, reach out to us. We're your biggest advocate, and we fight for you. So I just want to let you all know that. Remember to reach out to us. Next, I want to pass it to Miss Edith Margarito. Give me one moment.
They'll hear me. Hi, nice to meet you. My name is Edith. I'm on the executive board of the Brownsville Me and My Homeowners Association.
All right, we can't hear something. Apologize.
Y'all can't hear me? Oh, okay.
I'm sorry.
All right. It's okay. My voice is very vocal. I thought it was anyway. So I'm with the Brownsville Me and My Homeowners Association. I'm on the executive board, and I wanted to know. I have a property where, and I have individual who takes care of the property for me, right? But the tenants are very lazy. I do have the bins, and they'll come down the stairs and they'll throw the bags on top of the garbage cans, right? So my ask is, since I have cameras, can I bring the picture of that tenant and maybe you could give the tenant the ticket instead of the homeowner? Because I'm tired of them always picking on the homeowners. We don't have anybody representing the homeowners. Everything is the homeowner, and you do everything you can, and the tenants don't get disciplined for it. Also, I overheard you say that you allocated $53,000 for cameras for these guys who are washing cars and stuff like that. I was wondering if you could allocate some of that money to put cameras on Junior Street between New Lots and Riverdale, because there's a lot of dumping that goes on there.
On the MTA property.
Yes, and it's the MTA. We've been fighting with the MTA for many years, and their suggestion was that if we get the cameras, they'll put it up for us. So if you could allocate some of that money and put some cameras over there, we would appreciate it. Also, I wanted to know, who's the one who gives the tickets? Is it the Department of Sanitation or is it the Department of Health? And how does that process work?
For what?
For the rats. Like how does that work? Do you guys randomly come and look and see droppings and give a notice or a ticket, or how exactly does that work? Okay?
The first inspection that we do, the initial inspection, there's no ticket monetary fine associated with that first notice that you receive. That's just an information to let you know an inspector came and this is what was observed, so that you can go ahead and take the necessary steps to clean it. It becomes a summons after the compliance inspection if there was no response. So when we come back into the compliance inspection and the cleanup was not done, the droppings are still there, borrows are still there, then a summons is sent out. That's when the quota, before you get the quota letter, the commissioner's notice to obey. The second step is the summons, and that's when you get to go to O.
And that's from the Department of Sanitation?
Department of Health.
The Department of Health gives the ticket.
Yes, for the rodents. So it's not a ticket initially, it's a notice.
It's a notice.
After if you do not clean up, you don't abate your property, then you will receive a summons. And then you do get the opportunity to go to the hearing at O, and you can show them what you're doing. If you hire a pest control professional, you present that information to them, and then the court will take it from there. So we're no longer involved after you have your summons.
So being that it's your own property, can't you place the poisons yourself and rid of it yourself instead of an exterminator?
You can, but we generally recommend that you use a pest control professional. If you are a licensed pest control professional, your family member is a licensed pest control professional, and that's the route you wish to take, then by all means go ahead. But we do highly recommend that you use a pest control professional, especially if it's something that you cannot handle yourself.
So after you give the classes, right, like if the homeowner goes to the class, right, and you teach them the steps, it's only a recommendation that they get an exterminator. They could take care of it themselves.
You can take care of it yourself, but again, because you're working with chemicals, pest control professionals, they are licensed to deal with those chemicals. They know specifically where to put, for instance, bait. Because you have children running around, you have pets running around, you have raptors running around, that we don't want those things to be impacted by just carelessly putting poison down. So that's why we recommend you use a pest control professional.
So those are not things that you teach in the class?
In the classroom.
What does the class cover?
Basically, it's general sanitation, and also we help you to identify things that you need to know to help you prevent rodent infestation on your property. So we walk you through identifying the borrows, the droppings, and we show you pictures. So sometimes we'll see a tiny hole in the sidewalk and we'll say, hey, a rat can't fit through that. So 2 weeks ago, one of the inspectors took a picture and he wrote a note that he saw the hand of a rat. And the supervisor was like, what do you mean you saw the hand of a rat? And then the picture showed little tiny fingers in a little tiny hole sticking out, and he's just hanging on here. So in the class, we're teaching you what to look for and also giving you information on best practices.
Thank you. I'm going to pass it to Ms. Lita.
I believe me.
question is regarding the 311, the tickets that I put in, but I put a lot of tickets for 311. The area on Fountain between Flatland and Seaview, and then from Seaview to Erskine. There is no physical address. I try to give the name, the building that's there, that's currently right there on Fountain, and they close the tickets out. What I wanted was the entire strip to be cleaned up, because there's a lot of dumping on that stretch, which is to Shirley Chisholm Park. We have a beautiful park and a lot of dumping. And that area needs to be cleaned out. How can I enter tickets for an area that does not have a physical address? And if for it to be taken care of, could I put the notes exactly what is required, and they ignore the notes and go to the building that I reference, which is the only building that's on that particular stretch of land? How is that handled?
As far as the 311 system and how we put the address in, I can't answer that. But
even if it's not 311, how do I get somebody to go out to that location, those locations?
Yes, so that location we are very well, aggressively servicing that location. You know exactly what you're talking about, Fountain, from Flatland, Seaview, that whole area going up to Gateway. We serviced it.
It was serviced.
I want to say at least 5 times within the last 3 weeks.
Yeah,
But it's problematic that our enforcement moving on. They actually stay doing what they do over there, taking enforcement measures, and we're going to continue to aggressively service that location. I know exactly what you're talking about. It's been on the radar. It is an eyesore.
Okay, is that the only way to enter a ticket for your department to get it?
311?
Yes. Is that
Yes.
is the only way?
Yes. I'm familiar with that location. We can talk when you finish. I give you my card and you can directly reach out to me when you go to something. I have something.
Okay. Another issue I have is
Just 1 second, ma'am. I think when you do the 311, whatever it is, the council member's office can be very helpful as well to this. The service request number that you get, you can share with the council member's office.
Okay.
And they know exactly how to reach us. Chief Bostic is aware of that because we get calls every so often.
Okay.
So once you do that, our office will get in touch with us directly. Will call me or somebody else on my team. And trust me when I say this, people will move very quickly to do what it is that needs to be done.
That's true. Okay, cool. Another question.
Real quick, as far as representing the block, I'll try to research the block and block number for the property and get back to the council and see if we get your physical address.
Okay. Question that I have. Could I see a discrepancy within the area, which is the East New York area, Flatbush, those areas, compared to when I go to Howard Beach, regarding sanitation and the pickup of garbage? In our area, they will pick up the garbage, and garbage will fall out. And they will leave it strewn on the floor, on the ground. If I go to Howard Beach, that sanitation man is picking that garbage up and putting it in the truck. They're not leaving it strewn on the ground at all. They actually, because sometimes it's the guy who is doing the garbage, he's pelting the garbage, and then the garbage is thrown all over this, all over our street.
So let me tell you what I want to do.
And I see the difference in Howard Beach. They pick that shit up.
Well, you said it. So, man, please do us a favor, do me a favor, if you don't mind, and the chief a favor as well. And this goes to everybody. Is if you happen to see such a thing happen, let's assume the truck comes by and that happened, and they did not stop, they're supposed to actually pick up. They're supposed to do it. If perchance it didn't happen, just do us a favor. If you can get in for the truck, let the members' office know. We will look into it, and trust me when I tell you this man here does not play, so I'll leave it at that.
Thank you. I'm going to pass it to Mr. Alberto Hernandez.
Before I begin my concern, sanitation, improper trash disposal, how much is that going to cost us for the fine?
We didn't hear the question.
It's $50, I'm not so sure yet.
$50, okay, that's my concern. Well, because I'm a homeowner, I've been here 40 years, and unfortunately we have people who, their lives may be turned around, and they're living out of cars. These people are dumping. They don't recycle, they're dumping. Whereas the homeowner, me and other homeowners go out and clean up their trash. I don't want to get a ticket because I clean up their trash and don't separate it. How can we get over that?
Can you repeat that?
People throw their trash out of their cars. That trash is mixed. Sexual stuff, meat, paper, everything. We clean it up. Neighbors, myself included, but we put it into one trash bag. We don't sort it out. And now we have to put it in this plastic bin with our regular separated trash and cover it. Now you guys come down and do your work and remove my trash and the trash I picked up, but I may get a ticket because it's not recycled.
That's a good question. That's a good question. For something like that, you can reach out directly to me. If you have to reach out to me from some cleanup that you did, and I'll make sure that somebody comes to services and doing that.
But reach out to you after I get the ticket, or reach out to you?
No, we can reach out to you before you put it out. If it's that,
but it's always happening. Newport, and Sacramento and Powell Street. They're living out their cars and they dump it constantly every day.
Newport, Sacramento, Powell?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. 16.
Near my home down there.
They do that a lot on my block too. I have a corner house.
I'll be back to you on the answer to that. The most I can say is you can reach out to us and we'll come and service your bags. If it's that much mix, but there has to be a certain amount of makes it free for you to even get some at all. But if you're saying that much, that's so much mixed up, you let me know and I have
every day they're throwing this stuff. The condoms, the Kentucky Fried Chicken, all that stuff they're throwing out
I have one question from the Instagram live stream from the Gianna Kylie guy. This is for sanitation. I've noticed that sometimes on the corner of Euclid and Fulton Street, there's always furniture, clothes, and garbage all the time. What can I do to stop it? It sits there for months, and when is it? Okay, it sits there for months.
Well, I think we now have the location of where this is happening. We are going to actually
Euclid and Fulton.
Yeah, so let's pay attention to that area, take a look at it, and then of course, if there's stuff there, then we'll service it. That's the job that we do.
And I just want to, I'm going to keep reminding you all that our office is here to assist you. If you have any 311 numbers, if you have any complaints, any concerns, any issues, reach out to our office and we will advocate for you and we'll try to get the issue resolved as quickly as we can. I'm not going to brag, but our office is pretty spectacular. Our team is pretty solid, so we're here for you. We're willing to work for you all. We're just an extension of the community, so I just want to let you all know. Reach out to our office. We're here to help. Next, I'm going to pass it to Miss Claudia Bautista. One moment.
I would like to know, who's this? What kind of postman you have, from Van Syndrome or Williams Avenue, all the way to Pennsylvania Avenue by the Beach Range. I have made several, complaints about the stores there, dumping garbage on the train, on the stairs to the subway. The stores look like they just dump garbage there, bread, everything. Every time I follow up with 311, you know they tell me? No finding. It's an eyesore. Every day I pass this place to go to work and I have to shake my head. I say, no finding? I say, because it's a ghetto area? No finding? I thought when I tell the operator that. I can't have no finding. I call y'all, I don't know where you're coming from. I call Sanitation, Officer Johnson, call that. They don't answer their phone. They maybe know my voice, but they have call ID. I'm tired.
All right, what's the
It's a health problem too. Yeah, we're talking about Rat Academy, that's a bad problem. And then,
the location?
let's say Williams Avenue all the way to Livonia to Pennsylvania. I don't know about anywhere else. I live in Alabama.
Livonia between the
So you say Van Syndrome, all the way to Livonia Avenue to the train track. All the stores right there. I've been going for years. No findings. Thank you. I hope I see a change. Maybe next month or next week. I'll call your office again.
Listen, ma'am, you definitely have in your council member an advocate, and I can say that because I do get, my team gets a lot of calls from the council member's office about issues. This is the first I'm hearing this. It doesn't mean it's not what is happening. We are going to take a look at it. The chief just took some notes. And like I said, the man does not play. He knows what it is that needs to happen. Now I'm hearing this for the first time. I'm going to ensure that something happens around that particular corridor. Okay?
Civic post
Thank
activity.
Thank you. I just want to do a time check. It is now 7:35. We're scheduled until 8 p.m. So respectfully, I'm just going to ask the next 5 or 6 people to keep their question within a minute to a minute and a half, and then we can just move things forward. It's not nothing to you. So I'm going to pass it to Ms. Green.
Thank you, Samari. I'll try to do it in 66 seconds, but I doubt it. But it's really good to see everyone out here tonight because it shows that we do have concerns as a community concerning our sanitation and upkeep of our communities and our streets. Good evening, Commissioner, Mr. Bosnick. And what's your name? Josetta. My question is a threefold question. I don't think you could be able to answer all three, but it's going to be God. And I see we all have similar issues, if not the same. I live in the Upper Highland Park community where both workplaces, Sunnyside and the Jackie Robinson Parkway corridor. We were promised sanitation cameras to deal with the massive illegal dumpings. We worked consistently with Councilwoman Sandy Nurse, who have come out to several of our meetings, but there has been a delay in the cameras, and we want to know how can you assist the council member to make sure that we get those cameras. We did get a portable camera, finally showed up for one day in January and was gone. The other question is the illegal dumping. It's constant illegal dumping, and we do go out and we clean up. We have different home property owners that do their section. And just like the gentleman said, there's a lot of people who are homeless now, and so they're on their streets. And this lady over here, so it's a big issue with the sanitation. We know there were budget cuts. And then for the rats, because of the budget cuts and the fact that we have empty lots and we have empty corridors, rats was able to populate. We weren't the cause of the rats, it's because there was no one to be able to pick up the trash, come clean up these vacant lots, and deal with the burrows and the holes underneath the underpass. So I don't think it's fair that property owners who are battling rats, if they call to get help, they would be summoned. It's not our fault, it's the city's fault for not being able to keep up with the trash in public places that allow the rats to spread to the private place. And I think I'll wrap that up.
So regarding property owners, so when a property owner calls in a complaint, as long as their information is on there, we go to that property, we do not cite that property. So we will put in our report what we observed at the site, but that property owner does not get a citation where it leads to a summons. Why? Because our goal is to work with you, the property owner. So if you call in as a property owner and you say, hey, this is what's happening, I'm going to come do the inspection and I'm going to make a notation that this is the property owner, so you do not get a summons. We will continue to work with you so you can clean up. However, if it's your tenant that's calling in or your neighbor that's calling in for your property, that's something different. But if you as the property owner call in, we work with you. We do not issue you a violation that leads to a summons.
So let me just
Thank
you so much. The rat issue is coming from public areas opposite where we live, which is the highway, the underpass, and empty lots. It's not coming from us. The rat population is coming from there. So what does the city do? We've called 311. No one has come out and addressed the issue. There's no bait box. On Vermont, between Sunnyside and Jackie Robinson Parkway, is the underpass of Highland Boulevard. There are holes, there are retainer holes for the waters, and rats. There's a lot of gravel coming out, and I didn't know what it was, and the neighbor said that there's rats. So people are in their cars, they're dropping the trash, it's not residential. We clean it up, but we don't have the manpower. We want to work with the city, with sanitation, to get rooms, to get bags. We ask for a lot of stuff because it's good to complain, but if we're not getting no results, we resolve it ourselves. And so how can we work with other entities? We need someone to come out and inspect those empty lots, the underpass and the Jackie Robinson Highway, which hasn't been cleaned in over 2 years, because no one can determine who owns that piece of land on the opposite side of the fence.
So here's what I suggest you can sign up with Sarah in the back, so that way we'll be able to look into it. Because like I mentioned before, there's specific zones, so that's outside of the zone that I generally work in, that's the regional office. So in order for you to get some help towards that would be the regional office. But if you give Sarah your information, then we can see where we can get more information for you. But again, property owners won't get summonses. We'll work with you once you've made the complaint. And also, like the lady mentioned before, some of these vacant lots, there's no address associated to them. There's no property owners that can be found. So the inspector will go out, do inspections, the letter will generate, and it will go to the office, to the address that's on public file. Sometimes they respond, sometimes they don't. In cases where they do not respond, then the city will start the extermination process, right? And it depends on how long. It can be a series of exterminations before it is fully impacted, and that generally depends on the size and the infestation of rodents in that particular lot.
So then sanitation will work with the city, those lots, and they will exterminate or the city.
We do have lots of them, very small, but we can touch base with some of the lots you talk about. I think you're talking about the main street is right.
Yeah, I'm in Spain.
Okay.
I know you've been very busy, but I haven't given up on it yet.
Yeah. Okay. And I think the lot that is question that we spoke about a while ago, I've been referred to, so I'll follow up on it, all right?
Yes.
Thank you.
Just real quick also, so we do also have a cleanup unit, and it just depends on the situation and what comes back from the inspection report and from the extermination, and they'll be able to go.
Thank you so much.
On the cameras, so what was it that the member reached out on the issue? Yes, I think the councilmember Nelson and I had a conversation maybe 3 weeks or so ago about the issue, and we directed folks to go out and take a look to locate where cameras can be placed. You mentioned the mobile camera. Yeah, the mobile camera was out there for maybe 2 weeks or so, but it was because the battery runs out after like 2 or 3 days, so it doesn't swapped out. I believe as of the last check, they identified an area. Of course, it has to be vetted properly before anything can be done. So I'm waiting for my folks to get back to me in terms of that. It's just a process, as you know. It's not something that we are kind of. I know the member they put some money in for cameras, and I know that the member is very much aware of it. We just got a nod for those cameras to be purchased because it takes a time for us to get this stuff done. But we're on top of it, I guess.
I'm sorry to interrupt. We have meeting with the cameras were purchased and were purchased, so why would you
I'm sorry.
Oh,
All right, so we're gonna finish this last question.
I'm sorry. All right. I don't know if you're being misinformed. The cameras were purchased. We had this meeting like 2 years ago, and we was awarded. So why would you be repurchasing cameras that was already purchased? And then also too, I know you're busy. You may not get accurate information. The mobile sanitation camera was there for 2 days, not 2 weeks.
No, like I said, ma'am. It was,
okay.
Yeah, like I said, the cameras operate on batteries, and the battery runs out after 2 to 3 days. It has to be swapped out, right? So then it was taken out. It was brought back. I know that for a fact because the chief of enforcement reports into me, so I know what they did. It was like over a 2-week period that they did it. It wasn't every day in 2 weeks. It was it was done. Having said that, though, I think the pertinent question is about when will the cameras come, right, to those areas. That's what that's the most of the question. Like you mentioned earlier, we had a budget issue in the city of New York. Everybody knew that. It's not really new. That impacted us as well and our ability to do certain things. Yes, it is true from what you just shared just now that there was an understanding around cameras. We installed some cameras in this district already. We have, right? The member as well put in some money to get some cameras as well. Those actually just got approval from OMB not that long ago. That's why I made the comment about getting some new cameras moving forward. Nothing can be installed until a survey and a full vetting is done of location of where the camera will be placed, right? If there's no light source, I can't place a camera there, right? So all of those are things that we must do. It's being done as we speak. So I'm waiting for the team to report back to me to let me know where we are. Before I came to this meeting today, I knew it was going to come up. So yeah, trust me, and I asked Antonio, my colleague, to kind of refresh my memory as to what it was that he did. So I'm quite correct on it. But I'll leave that, we can talk afterwards about that, okay? Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Ms. Green. Just want to reiterate, we're pressed for time. I'm going to get to everyone's name. Everyone's name is going to get heard. So next on the list, we have Joseph. Let's keep it a minute or so.
So my concern is where I live, from Ridgewood Hale to Ridgewood Norwood. As you can see, the arrows coming to the Mondays and Thursday sides. I always get garbage from across the street, from down the block, piling up in front of my house, in the middle of the block, and I'm the only one that cleans. I've been doing this since 9 years old, and right now I'm 39. About to be 40. And this is the biggest one I have. And when I talk to the inspector guys, I notice that they get more tickets for boxes with styrofoam than they do for alternate side parking vehicles that are not moving from Ridgewood and Highland all the way to Ridgewood and Logan on Mondays and Thursdays. That's the main concern, because I live on that side. Ridgewood. Highland to where? To Logan. That's where I did the petition. From Jamaica all the way down to 14. So my concern is the garbage always piles up in front of my house. I already paid like $1,200 in tickets over the lifetime. And I want to know, when I talk to your inspectors, they say that it's NYPD's job to get tickets, but it's also sanitation. So I'm thinking, since they're telling me that you guys got to work from Brooklyn and Queens, how come you don't hire 2 more guys? One to do the garbage, one to do the alternate side parking. This way you can give out more tickets, make more money, but at least my sidewalk on my side is clean from these areas that I'm advocating for the neighborhood for the petition. Because these zones get pretty messed up and we have a lot of alternate side parking problems during the time from 11:30 to 1 o'clock. We got stuff with people like across the street, communicate, have parties from 2:20 to 2:22. They have parties together. We see raccoons come from the back of the house, running onto my side, all the way to Ridgewood and Forster, and back of the houses. And this has been going on for many years. If you check the website for the rat rodents, in that location, you can see the patterns coming from Ridgewood and Highland to Ridgewood and Forster to Ridgewood and Hale, where everyone's complaining to Ridgewood and Highland. So there's a trail, they're in people's houses, they're not coming from the park, and they're not coming from the sewers, so I look at it with my cameras. And it's only coming from the parties with the loud noises that were happening in the community. So when you look at the noise complaints for this summer, those are the parties and those are the rodents that are coming from every night. So this is why I want to mention everybody's having an idea what's going on. So pay attention to the people who want complaints, and you're going to see these parties are bringing the rodents, and they're not backing up, and they're not using the proper garbage.
As far as the SDR, so I got it right. Ridgewood, Highland to Logan, 11:30 to 1, has not been monitored. As far as the rodents, you need to speak to the Department of Health Plan.
I've been engaging them when we go with it, trying to see which house to go in, and notify the homeowner also.
Okay, I'll make sure that we have the SDR, the street cleaning regulation monitored, and then you have an issue with your reference pickup? No, you're saying they'll only start done?
Yeah, I think we'll focus on more problem of loading my machine, all up on the street, not to take it, they take it, like I'm doing with the district office, and we do the bags, and I'll have to go back and clean up myself.
All right, definitely. So they definitely have it, and I'll follow up with the council.
Thank you. Thank you for your question. Next we have Ms. Ellie Pinckney. Ms. Ellie?
have 2 questions. You said be brief. I'm going to try to be brief. Number 1, the gentleman in the middle, I don't think you were introduced. I didn't get your name.
My name is Deputy Chief Officer, New York City Department of Sanitation.
So you're not from BK5?
I have oversight of BK5. That's one of my districts.
Okay, I'd like to get your card. My first question is, who's responsible for the entrance to the Gateway Mall, for keeping it clean and maintaining that shrubbery?
When you say the entrance, specifically?
Skank Avenue.
Skank Avenue going up to like Vandalia and that turnpike mall.
Skank Avenue from Flatlands, the entrance to the Gateway Mall.
Part of that we are responsible for.
And why isn't it kept clean? You can't walk on that sidewalk. It's overgrown and it's often dirty. Once you get into the mall is maintained, but that strip is not. So that's on you, right? Okay. The L train at New Lots, that whole block is filthy. It's filthy. It's not cleaned. That's also a transfer point for the M15, the B15 bus that goes to the airport. So that's an eyesore for the community. That people have to get off the train, go downstairs to get a bus, and the whole street is filthy. On New Lots Avenue, underneath the 3, going from Pennsylvania to Sheffield, is filthy. It looks as though it goes for months without being cleaned. Cars don't move. I guess they don't get ticketed. But the street is so filthy that you have to step over garbage and clutter when you're crossing the street from one side of the street to the other. Okay, those are my 3 issues. And I have one last issue. We have a lot of community gardens, especially along Blake Avenue. There are 2 or 3. Outside of those community gardens, the street is not being maintained. There's always garbage and clutter on the sidewalks. So who's responsible for making sure that the community gardens keep their side of the street clean? Is it your job?
Gardens, part of it is parked, but ultimately we will make sure that it's clean. I wrote everything that you mentioned down. I'll follow up with it.
I have one last question with that young lady. In your address, you said something about owners have a responsibility to keep their properties clean. What's included in the upkeep that owners have to do? What's included in that upkeep?
So regarding rodent, the upkeep is you're trying to prevent a rodent infestation. So you'll go around your property, you'll sweep, you'll check behind your garbage. And a lot of times when people put garbage in the bins, they'll dump it and it'll be behind the bins, and folks won't pick up the garbage behind the bins. Folks are not cleaning their garbage area. So if you're not cleaning your garbage area, that means you're leaving trace materials for rodents to come. So you want to go around, you sweep up. If you have rat droppings, you sweep that up. Not only sweep it up, but you also scrub that area with Clorox water solution or ammonia solution because you want to kill the pheromone.
Are owners responsible to clean inside their yards and keep their yards neat and clean?
That's a part of the rodent abatement, yes.
So if yards are cluttered and piled up with garbage and things, some people put lots of crap in their yards, we can call you.
Yeah, you can make a 311 complaint and we'll come out, we'll do an inspection, and we do cite for garbage, that's clutter, a buildup of clutter and materials because rodents can hide behind things, they can hide inside of things. So if you have old mattresses that's being left outside, or sofas, boxes, so they can nest inside of those things. So you want to clean up. Yes, you can call 311 and make a complaint for that.
Thank you for the question. We have 3 more questions. I know that we have you only until 8 o'clock. So I just want to ask if we can extend maybe 5 minutes or so. I want to make sure everyone who signed up got their question answered. So I'm going to give you the mic.
Good evening, everyone. A month ago, I received this ticket, sanitation. It was for not having the receptacles, the new receptacles. So I guess most of us here are struggling with the new sanitation rules. So it says that I did not have the receptacles, but I'm on Fulton Street between Euclid and Time. In fact, the Cypress Hills Traffic Corporation is my property. And it's a row of buildings, a storefront, and then 2 apartments above. There's no way to put these cans. I mean, we've heard stories, the cans will be stolen. I can't leave them in front of the store. So I'm here to ask, where should I put these cans? I already got 1 ticket.
So that I understand the question, and if I don't understand, forgive me. If I think I heard you correctly, you got a ticket for not containerizing your garbage, yes? Okay. And the reason for that is because storage is an issue, right? Where to put the can, as an example. Now, I know that we do permit, for instance, people to have their garbage is 5 feet or less than that from the side of the building itself. You know, you can actually do that. You got a ticket, not necessarily because you didn't containerize, you had it in the bag, in the black bag, I'm assuming, and the rules are very clear in terms of what we are now doing. What I can probably try to do is this. I can speak to folks in the district to come by you, take a look at your property and see what's going on, because it says a mixed-use property, right? Business and residential.
Yes.
Now, you don't own the building. Do you own the property, sir, or you are?
No, I own the property.
Now,
the Cypress Hills Traffic Corporation is on the first floor, and then I have 2 residential tenants. They have their own pickup because it's a commercial, and it's mostly paper. There's no food and things like that. Once in a while, they have a little something with food. But my residential tenants put their garbage out in bags after 8 p.m. There's no way I can have a can there. I don't know where to put it. Not even me, but my other owners too.
So unfortunately, and I would say folks won't like it, but I have to be honest with you. The requirement now is for everybody to set out their garbage at a particular time. Now, let's assume, for example, that you order a can. I don't know if you did or not. Let's assume you order the new can, there's people to buy, and in between, you get your can delivered, and the garbage is placed out in a bag, as an example. The likelihood of you getting a ticket would be extremely high. I mean, low, sorry, not high, low. Why? Because we allow that if you order the can, it may take a month or 2 before you get it. So therefore, whatever ticket you happen to get, we can deal with internally. However, if what I'm hearing, I think I'm hearing you correctly, is that because of the issue of space, folks put their garbage out in a black bag. 8 p.m., 9 p.m., doesn't really matter right now, you will get a ticket. That's the, but I'll talk to the chief, we'll take a look at that area, maybe ask someone from the district, walk over there, take a look.
What's the address?
3295 Fulton Street.
3295.
The problem is not to buy the cans. I have no issues to buy the cans. The issue is where to put the can.
You can't put this, you have no building line in front of you?
Say that again?
But your building line,
it's a row building, it's a whole block on both sides.
All right, I'll have an officer, please, investigate, maybe pull you on the street and you can be there and they can point you in the right direction.
Okay, I really appreciate that because I comply with the law. I'm very law-abiding and a good landlord. So, but I don't know where to put the cans.
Sure, if you want to leave me your number, so I want to also do.
Of course I will, yes, of course.
Thank you, of course. We'll take a look at it, okay?
Okay, and if you need to do something with the sticky figures.
I don't understand. What I have to insist here, the answer is no. It's okay, Chief. We can't right now. You have every right, of course, to contest it. It is your right and oath should you decide to go that route, but we are not going to be able to do anything about it as it is.
Well, okay, putting an order in a box, not giving me too many options, and I can buy the key and split it, and 10 minutes later, once it gets done, they're stolen.
Well, like I said, we're going to come take a look. Like I said, absolutely come look at your property and see what the issues are. It's important that I say this. Building lines are there for a reason, and we allow folks to do this. I'll give you an example. For instance, when we started this rollout of the new set of rules, 2023 into moving forward, right? Similar complaints we got from business owners, where do I put my garbage or my can or whatnot. They are allowed to do it, by their building lines. By so doing, now, it's only not wanted for, again, obvious reasons. I get it. But if people live there, it's a mixed-use property. Unfortunately, like you said correctly, you're right. It's the duty of the landlord or the homeowner to have a can. That's the law. Having said that, I will have somebody come take a look. Maybe there's some ideas they may have that I'm not thinking of right now to actually help moving forward. So allow us to do that, and then we'll see.
Okay, appreciate that. I have a camera in the building, and I can look at it 24/7. People at night, they're breaking bags for they're looking for cans, and we know all this stuff. So, and they leave it open, they spill the garbage, and so I get tickets for it. Anyway, thank you for your time. Coming back to the question was already asked. Euclid and Fulton, that's my corner too, with a vine. There's a vacant building. It used to be a funeral home. It was gutted, and it's been vacant like maybe 20 years or so, at least 20 years. I think it's a breeding ground for rats. So you want to check that building out. Thank you.
You can make a complaint at 311. Just give them that building address. Do not give your building address. So what you can do is write that information down for me. Or I'll see you after I take the information and I'll pass it on so that we can have a look at it.
Thank you. I just want to say we have 3 more folks for questions, and then we'll close it out after that. If I missed anyone for questions, you have the information for our office. Email our office with your specific question. File a 311. Send us all the relevant information that we may need for the question to push the issue forward, and then we'll address it that way. But we'll finish out the list. We have 3 more people, and we'll just try to wrap it up. So I'm going to ask everyone to keep it to a minute. Ms. Leah.
I want to clarify, because I went to multiple meetings last year for the Department of Sanitation. The enforcement for the NYC containers to give tickets wasn't going to be until 2026. That's what I want to clarify. Meanwhile, people can use containers covered and you don't get a ticket, but they don't say the NYC.
Yes, you're correct. As of now, we are not really enforcing, if you want to use the term, if you don't have, it's not required for you to buy the game. Next year is when we begin to issue tickets if you don't have the NYC.
In 2020.
Yeah, I think that's the June or July.
Yes. And then my other question is, because I saw on the internet 3 different websites about the introduction of the 1126 bill, where the Department of Sanitation will, or different, this Department of Sanitation will give free containers to the homeowners, one family and 2 families.
Yes, I mentioned when I spoke earlier that yes, that passed the council. It's not decided into law yet. Of course, we are studying it. We're going to study it. I think we have put in August a bill about it before this goes into effect. Should it become law? As it is right now, it's a bill that passed the council. The council has asked for this to be looked at.
Just once, this morning, I read one website that said it was passed, and now I read...
No, it was passed by the council. That's the truth. It was passed. Like I said, until the mayor signs whatever you know what I'm saying? So we have to wait until we're still studying it. So once we're clear, then we can move forward with it, okay? But nothing right now to report the council now. To report.
participator in a community garden on Van Sickland and Belmont. And I would like some assistance with controlling the rats there. You know, because we grow fruits and vegetables, and of course it attracts the rats, so I just need some assistance in maintaining and controlling those vermins.
So I'll take your information and I can pass that on because we do have Rodent Academy that's also specific for gardens. So we'll get that information and then we'll be able to work with you.
Jimmy Shop. Jimmy. Okay. This is our last question. Last question.
It's not a question. First, I want to thank y'all for coming out. I'm a retired supervisor for sanitation, so I've been 9 years on the street, picking up garbage, 12 years, 11 and a half years as a supervisor. Mr. Bostic, I know him since he came on the job, great man. And I'm glad that he's at the title he's at. But a lot of y'all problems are easy to solve. First of all, the young lady who said about garbage spilled on the street, if you look at most of the garbage cans in our neighborhood, they don't have tops. You go to Howard Beach, they have tops. And that's been a law way before. I got a job in 95. There was a law way before that you're supposed to have a top on your garbage, but it was never enforced. But our streets are dirty. Mr. Boss is always, I'm calling him left and right. And the thing is, we as a community gotta hit the politicians and let them know we need legislation. We need money allocated for people to clean up because they do not have that much manpower to clean up. In 311, use your cameras. Take pictures of everything, and the biggest thing you can do, call the news. Trust me, you do a news story, you will learn to get more power. Thank you.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure to have you all here. Department of Sanitation, DOH, we appreciate the presentation. Just to reiterate from the council member's office, we're here to help, we're here to assist. Please reach out to us before you head out. Visit Sam by our front desk and pick up some palm cards. All the information is there. I want to say thank you to Team Nurse, Patricia, Samantha, and Don for helping me out there. And reach out to us. Thank you. Have a good night, everybody.
Hey, how you doing?
All right, how are you?